I suppose in a nutshell, I'm a movement and dance teacher and hold workshops, and I'm a published writer. And I was a workshop junkie for a while, mainly because I knew I was onto something, and my life began to change dramatically because of it. So now I am sharing the process I put myself through. That has realised the potential I have as an individual. Dance has been my medium, my change mechanism, and without it, well, I just don't know. That's a mystery. I believe we are born into our soul purpose, but unless we are guided and supported to be that person, it is too easy to get caught up in what society decides we should be. I believe if we go back to that first love, that first passion we had as a child, we will find what we were born to do and be. If we persist enough with that and we get the right kind of support, then we start to live to our fullest potential. And this is where the Dansea, the free spirit, supports us and helps us to recreate ourselves. We literally dance into our true nature. I was told once by a friend, imagine, Caroline, you are on a stage and the script is already written. You just need to live your own part fully. And I took that very seriously at the time, through all the challenges I had, and I learned how to play my part in life through all the dramas and turn them into the best act I possibly could. I think it's all about waking up our innate intelligence, and I don't think we can do that by following someone else's idea of who we should be. It comes from inside us, from what we are passionate about. We know at a deep core level who we are, just as we know what is right. So if we learn to trust our inner dancer, our soul, then we are reborn. It's about making a commitment to ourselves, making a promise and giving time and energy to what and who we are. I believe the challenges make us grow, they strengthen us, and if we stick with what we want and don't give up, we can dance our way to freedom. We can begin to bring out the qualities within us that really serve us. When we tap into that energetic field, then the dancer begins to show us what we're really capable of. It awakens our mind, our body, our heart, and our soul, and that's my experience from my own life. Then we have something genuine to offer to our communities and to the world, and then we're in line with our own integrity. So I've been following movement medicine for many years, and I became one of the first qualified teachers to bring it out into the world. The wonderful thing that I find with movement medicine and training as a teacher is that you're able to bring your own flavour, your own vibration, if you like, of work to the form of movement medicine. So I have really enjoyed bringing out my own creativity, bringing out my constellation work, my theatre work, my poetry and artistry, and really combining that into this sort of lovely cauldron of my own medicine and offering that within the structure of what the school stands for. Movement medicine is a body of work that involves dance, meditations, and lots of personal development work and healing. So we're engaging with the body, with the mind, with the psyche, we're engaging with the heart and with the soul, bringing all of that into movement and finding a way to heal collectively and individually. Good evening. It's lovely to be here. So I'm here to share with you what we call soul action. So I travel to many different countries, bringing movement medicine there, wherever it's wanted really. I love the invitation of the dance, and people get in touch with me and say, hey, will you bring one of your workshops here to us? I think it's far better to have one person travelling to a place than having all the people there having to travel to that one person. So it feels really important for me to honour those invitations and go off and share my medicine there. And it means I get to meet lots of different cultures, many different people, and that feels really valuable and a lovely thing to share. And I noticed that there's a difference in the cultures and the way people relate to the dance, but ultimately beneath all of that, we're the same. We are all dancers, we all have a soul, we all love, You know, we all have our challenges, but they're not so very different wherever you go. Some people might think, oh, I've got to be good at dancing, and it's not the case. It's really about just moving your body to music and going through different states of awareness. We're including the body, we're including the mind, we're including the heart. And when you put all of this into motion, then anything that is wanting healing or anything that is wanting to be processed will be made more known to us, because quite often emotions, for instance, are held in the body. They can be released through the dance. So we might find ourselves having a tearful moment, we might find ourselves feeling anger, we might find ourselves feeling a lot of joy. But when we move with that, we can give it its fullest expression without it being about anybody else, without it getting stuck, without it really inhibiting us. We're very safe on the dance floor to express whatever needs to be moved through us.
Actually, this week I found a really important part of myself. Actually, I reconnected to it, and this workshop helped me to integrate it.
I think sometimes people forget that they are very creative beings, and we all have that ability. And it might be more encouraged when we're children, may not be, but as we get older and we become more adult, if you like, then there is a tendency to lose some of that creativity. And the dance can really awaken that in us, especially when we use our imaginations in movement, especially when we're doing things like shamanic journey work. And I really love to encourage people to find the essence of their creativity and then bring it to life, because that is so magical and so important for us. Like, who are we in that? We can get to see in the pictures and the shapes and the colours, like, there I am, there's that piece of work that I've really been looking for all this time. Just suddenly it's alive again, and we stick it on our wall or we play with it, and it's a constant reminder. I mustn't forget that. I have many collages and pieces of art, and when I look back on them, I can see, oh yes, I mustn't forget that. I must remember that's part of who I am. So nature is the visible face of spirit. So I see spirit in nature. I see spirit in the trees, in the animals, in the connections that I have to them, into the plant worlds and into the elements. So the earth, the fire, water and air, those are really important parts of this work, to the practice that I offer. And for me, shamanism is very much about healing your own culture's wounds. So I'm looking at the wounds of my own culture, or the culture of where I'm working. And we have a lot of theatre, we have a lot of fun, a lot of play involved in this. And it's a great place for people to explore themselves and to just find some other part of themselves that they can experience, some other part of them that wants to live and to be free and to find the juiciness of life or the creativity of life. So when I use theatre, I'm inviting people to find parts of themselves that maybe haven't really come fully alive in themselves, and might be a part of them that could be really, really useful, that they haven't ever dared to explore before. They haven't really dared to bring it to life. It's not so much about the entertainment value of it, it's about the personal development value of it. And to have fun with yourself, to explore who you are. Who are you really? You know, underneath the mask that you've created for society, who are you beneath that? And that comes out through the dance very, very easily, because you're moving. You're not thinking about who it is, you're moving who it is. And it naturally emerges once we invite in the spirit of the dance to show us who we are. Then that can be very, very exciting.
I feel that movement medicine is a body prayer. It is expressing what your body and yourself feel and putting it in creative movement, in creative way, and see it from different perspective.
I encourage people to write their process, and what I learned from doing that, well, I had no idea I was doing it at the time, but I started to write my processes and eventually started to look over it and thought, wow, I've got a book here. I've got poetry here. I've got a book. I've got my own life story. And then one rainy day I sat down with it all and I began to write my autobiography. I didn't know it would be a published book at the time, but I just got this excited feeling all of a sudden that, wow, I've created something here that could actually be useful for somebody else. When somebody has been through a very challenging experience in their lives and they have dissociated from the body, from their hearts, when you start to bring that movement back in and you bring that soul essence back into the body, there is this extraordinary potential in those people to be incredibly creative, and this often comes through the sensitivity that those people have. Very sensitive people have an amazing well of creative juice, I like to think, and if that's channeled, begins to create some of the most wonderful artistry, and some of the most incredibly talented people begin to emerge from that. But people don't always know that that's there because they're hidden behind this mask of dysfunction that has nowhere to go except to fit into a box, into a normal kind of everyday living of survival. And it's not about survival. It's about really living your potential. And the key thing for people who've been through trauma and abuse is the tendency to escape from the body, because the body is where it hurts. So escaping from the body means that they're not fully engaged and not fully present. So our work is to really come back to the body, and that's soul retrieval. That's bringing our whole self back into being so that we are fully functioning human beings. It's so exciting to watch somebody come onto the dance floor who's quite shy or has had some real difficult challenges, and so there's a part of their psyche, a part of their ego, if you like, has really taken over, and they're just not who they really are. And to see them starting to step more fully into the person they were born to be is such a beautiful thing. It's very humbling, and I really treasure those moments when I see somebody step into the light of who they are, to see themselves really blossom and become more empowered through the soul retrieval of the work. I often say to people, the work doesn't stop here when you walk through the door after you leave a workshop, because it's still going on. The medicine is still flowing through you. So sometimes a little bit of support is what's needed to help ground that, to bring it home, to have a Skype session or one-to-one face-to-face session where you are supported to really make use of that work, that process that you've been on, and find steps to take you through your life then, and to just to make sure that there's ground there for you to walk on, for you to live on, that is still connected to the dance. And if you'd like to be in touch, please email me, info@carolinecarey.com. If you want a workshop in your area, I'd love to come and share some of this creativity with you. So just get in touch, and I look forward to dancing with you soon.